So, of course, that social awkwardness video, again, I always tell people that when something triggers you, when someone is talking about something and it triggers you, that is your sign to take in the information and make it work for you and apply it. A lot of women, like I said, are very awkward. And they don't want that pointed out. They either hide the awkwardness by being overly nice and smiley. They hide the awkwardness by probably being very quiet. Or they hide the awkwardness by avoiding people and hiding from the world altogether, meaning you don't go to social situations because you don't know how to interact with people. So because of that, you avoid brunches, parties, networking events because you can't go into a room and network. You don't know how to go into a room and just start talking to people. That's very hard for you. So instead of learning from what I'm talking about, you're going to attack it. Somebody asked me, oh, you're just talking about the same thing in the video. You're not giving practicalities. Ma'am, I have a class on social awkwardness. If you want to learn about social awkwardness, you can go to yourlevelupguru.net and purchase the class. But I can't hold your hand. And this is why I'm saying in society, everybody's regressing. Both men and women are regressing. Men are regressing because the men nowadays could not compare to our fathers or grandfathers because they're arguing over stuff like splitting a coffee bill. That's how far they've regressed. So that's a done case. That's not even something to even speak on. That's just done. That's why I don't even speak on that because they're too far gone. And when it comes to women too, women are regressing a lot too because you can't even hear an opinion that's different from yours. You can't process. You're attacking me in my comments. Why? Because what I'm saying, it's triggering to you. You're the weird person, right? You're the weird person that sits in your car instead of going in to mingle, not because you just don't want to be around people, but you don't know how to be around people. You're the person that goes on the date with the guy and you sit on the table and you're just staring at him because you don't know how to respond because you're scared. And he keeps asking you, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? He's asking you that because you're awkward. The conversation isn't flowing. Now you're awkward. So because you're awkward, now he's awkward. And instead of saying, oh, well, Mel, do you have any resources? You want me to sit here and make a 4-hour video talking to you about why you're awkward, what awkwardness looks like. That is how far regressed you are. Awkwardness, social skills, these things are learned as children. When you have your kid and you're pushing the cart at Publix and your child is staring at a stranger for too long and you say, baby, you're not supposed to stare at people for too long, yet you're over 30 and you stare at people too long. That's how delayed you are in that area of social skills. Social skills are required for certain opportunities. Because a lot of women take things personally. I had a woman comment and say, oh, you Americans want everybody to be up to your standards. This is not about American standards, ma'am. This is social etiquette. This is not about culture. I didn't even touch on the colorism thing because that's not what I was focused on. When I saw those videos of Tyla, I saw social awkwardness. That is what I saw. I didn't go into the whole race thing. The whole world is always something race related. So I don't even touch on that. That's too far gone. You'll notice there's certain topics that I don't touch on. The 50-50 topics with men, modern day men, I don't touch on that because they're too far gone. When it comes to colorism, I don't touch on that. That's too far gone. It's just society has regressed at such an extreme rate that certain conversations, I feel like it's just, I don't even want to go there because it's going to be hours and hours and hours of talking about it. This is not a video that was personal towards Tyla. It was an analysis. I want her to win. I think she's talented. So in my last upload, it goes right back to what I say when women have a hard time with accountability and women have a hard time with hearing the truth. It's not really easy to help women because women are so emotionally triggered and offended by any little thing that if what you're saying doesn't either coddle them, reinforce them, pander to them, pamper them, or put them on a high chair, if it's any of those things, women will probably get offended by it. My last video, I made it on Tyla and social awkwardness. I gave Tyla her flowers in the video. I literally said she's a beautiful girl, she's a phenomenal performer, and she's a star. She is a star. I made that clear. I just said that if she can get a little bit of media training, because she's a little socially awkward, and because of that, it's coming off as rude. I'm not saying she is rude. I'm saying it's coming off as rude. Because maybe she gets a little bit nervous, maybe she gets a little bit overstimulated, whatever, and the way that she responds comes off as rude. And women were offended. There's a lot of women in the comments offended by that. And it's like, I'm going to really stop putting out that kind of content because, first of all, in society, it's not just men regressing. Women are regressing and bad too. You cannot tell women anything without a temper tantrum getting triggered. Like, if you were raised in an island family, if you even gain 5 pounds, they're going to let you know. Because they want you to stay on track with whatever it is. If you start screwing up in school, they're going to say, hey. But in this present day, people are sensitive, men and women. And I always tell people, I know my messages are enticing, but why are you here if you're an oversensitive person? I always tell people, if you're overly sensitive, I would get out. I would click out of this video right now. You're not supposed to be in this space. This is a space for people who want to hear harsh truths. But social media is like this invisible thing that everybody's invited. That's just the problem. It's not an exclusive party invite. Social media is open to everybody. That's the thing. So there are people who are not mature enough to be in certain spaces. They get to be in spaces because it's mature. Because it's open. Name one thing that I said that was evil. I didn't talk about this lady in a negative, derogatory manner. I just spoke about a behavior of her being socially awkward. I didn't talk about her looks. I didn't talk about her family. I didn't call her a bitch. I didn't call her a hoe. But women, you can't tell them anything. And guess what? That's why the patriarchy is not going anywhere. Because you're not capable of hearing the truth. So imagine putting power in the hands of somebody that cannot even hear a constructive criticism. Imagine putting power in that person's hands. What would happen to us? You have a social awkwardness video making your panties go in a bunch, and you want power? You want to be able to run things? What a joke. It's the joke of the year. We will always be in a patriarchal society. That will never change. And I've accepted it, and I will do my due diligence to be able to survive in it, but that's never going to change. The responses that I got from women on this video, you can agree to disagree with a woman without being disrespectful. You can agree to disagree on certain topics, but with women, again, if this was a video of me picking a man apart, nobody would have a problem with it. I said it before. This is not a woman empowerment platform. If you're confused, I'm going to make sure that you have an understanding now. This is not a woman empowerment platform. I don't believe in women empowerment because women empowerment does not hold women accountable to certain behaviors. Women empowerment is go girl, girl power, but there's no accountability being served. There's no pointing out of bad behaviors being served. This is not woman empowerment because I am not here to talk to anybody in kid gloves. I'm not going to pad my messages. And I'm going to point out flaws. Women empowerment platforms tend to not do that. They talk about everything woman in a positive light, but they never point out negative behaviors. I want to grow, so I don't go in those environments because I want to know what's wrong with me. I want to hear if I'm socially awkward. I want to hear what needs to be changed. If it's my outfit, if it's a habit that I have, I want to hear that because I want to grow, right? So everything with Tyla, it's not personal. This is not a personal attack on her or any. I don't have parasocial. I don't create parasocial relationships with people, right? A lot of women create parasocial relationships, right? So when I'm talking about Tyla and social awkwardness, women think I'm talking to them because you don't even know me, but in your mind, you've created a connection with me. That's why I said a lot of women are very dangerous because of the way women think. They attach themselves very quickly, even to someone they don't know. So when I'm talking about a general topic. It's not personal to Tyla. I even had Doja Cat in there. I love Doja Cat. I can't wait for her album to come out, but Doja Cat is awkward. Have you seen her TikTok? Doja Cat is awkward and a little strange. But I like Doja Cat. Nicki can be strange too. But with Tyla, because she's a new artist, she's new, people are going to be harder on her. And based on the comments in my last video, I could tell a lot of you women, you could never manage. You could never lead because you don't tell people the truth. So somebody like you would destroy a woman's career. You cannot lead anybody's career. You can't lead nothing. All you can do is be a follower or a victim or a crier. You can't lead anything because you have a problem with truth. If I was managing Tyla, I would say, okay, let's sit down. Let's regroup. I'm not telling you to change yourself. But if we can get the American market too, hey, that's more money for you. That's more exposure for you. That's more collaborations for you. Hey, maybe you'll get us on a song with some big American artists. Let's work on it. So let's get some media training and let's see how we can get you to respond. So when somebody asks you a question that you don't like, here's how I would recommend you respond to it, right? But a lot of women, I notice women are very just obsessed with being a victim and complaining, no changes. And you can't lead if that's your persona. You'll always be a follower. You'll always be somebody that doesn't have any power because you're not balanced enough to be constructive when it comes to criticism, or when you see something is wrong, you can't fix it. You're not a fixer, right? So when it comes to Tyla, it's a media training problem. That's it.